Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video will be about my backlog journey in the first quarter of the 2026. Okay, this year started with a simple goal: make meaningful progress on my video game backlog. Of course, without turning gaming into a job. During the past years, I experimented the problem of many gamers, which is an ever-growing list of games that I wanted to play. And this year, I finally decided to try, maybe not to beat my backlog in just 1 year, because I have hundreds of games to play, but to make some progress. And I also started using different methods to face my backlog. Some of them were good, some of them were not. For example, one method was playing one game at a time, which sounded like the perfect solution, right? Focus, finish, move on. But after trying it, I realized I wasn't really enjoying myself. The lack of variety sometimes made gaming feels more like an obligation than an hobby. And the same goes for playing 1 week with one type of console. That's not really for me. What helped was creating a spreadsheet to organize my backlog, because seeing everything in one place helped me understand what I owned, what I wanted to prioritize, and how much progress I was actually making. And it happens also to become my video game library. So now I know exactly how many and which games I owned, both physical and digital. Another useful tool was checking how long to beat.com before starting a game. Because, having an estimate of how much time you need for a commitment into a game helped me choose games that fit my schedule and expectation. Because maybe if you have finished a more than 100 game RPG, it is better to start something of maybe 10 hours, 20 hours, then go again with another big game. Of course, if you have time, you can do that. But most importantly, I've spent time to think about a question that seems simple but isn't. What does it mean for me to complete a video game? I've learned that the answer depends on the game. Sometimes reaching the credits is the perfect stopping point. Other times, a game hooks me so much that I want to keep going until I've seen and done almost everything. Why not even the platinum trophies? Completion isn't one fixed standard anymore. It's about feeling satisfied with the experience. And that also means that sometimes, even if you have a massive backlog like myself of games that I've never played, sometimes I still need to replay some games and reach the credits or not, according to my feelings. Now, looking back at the first quarter of 2026, Here's how the journey went. In January, I started the year with many different games, but actually I finished just one. Downward Enhanced. It was a refreshing experience, focused on movement, parkour movement, and exploration. Traversing ancient ruins and mastering the game's mobility mechanics made it a good way to begin the year, especially because it reminded me how enjoyable it can be to play something different from the usual blockbuster releases. It's not really a massive game, but something that if you like this kind of game, you can give it a chance. Then it went better during February and March because I've completed 3 games for each of them. In fact, it was a surprisingly productive period. In February, first came Tekken 3, a true classic for PS1. I had already played this game in the past, but revisiting one of the most influential fighting games ever made was a reminder of how timeless great gameplay can be, because even decades later, its roster, responsiveness, and arcade spirit still hold up and reminds me of my childhood, when I spent hours and hours playing with my pals, arguing about who was using El de Gordo or other very strong characters. And this time I also was able to unlock every single one of the characters. And yes, I'm also talking about Dr. Boskanovich, which was kind of a pain in the back, but I got it. Next was Rayman Legends. This game was pure fun from the beginning to the end, with a little bit of madness. The creativity of its levels, the incredible art direction, and memorable music stages showed why it's often considered one of the best platformers ever made. It's a classic, and it was so good, but probably many of you will hate me for that, but I stopped when I was at 698 teams saved, these little blue guys that you have to save in the game, out of 700s, because the last 2 of them were in such difficult time-related levels that I didn't want to waste my experience. I didn't want to ruin my experience by becoming crazy. I'd finished this game at all cost. Then I closed the month with Call of Duty World War II, another one that I had already played in the past, but that I replayed and I considered very good in the remastered version, because probably I played it on the PS2 the first time, and this was on the next generation consoles. While the campaign wasn't particularly long, it delivered a cinematic and focused World War II experience, and it felt like a good example of a game where reaching the credits was exactly the kind of completion I was looking for. Nothing more. Then March continued the momentum. I finished a very old game that I'd already finished in the past, but not really with a high percentage of completion, which is Jak 2 Renegade. Arguably the toughest game of the quarter, but not my favorite of the franchise of Jak and Daxter. Its increased difficulty compared to the original, combined with its darker tone and open city structure, made it a memorable challenge, and one of the most satisfying completion of the year so far. Even if I'm still trying to collect all the orbs, but I consider reaching the credits good for finishing this game. Then came Digimon Rumble Arena for PS1. This was a shorter experience, driven largely by nostalgia. Going back to a childhood favorite was a reminder that not every backlog game needs to be a massive commitment to be worthwhile. And finally, I completed, again, maybe for the 4th or 5th time, I don't know, Assassin's Creed. The first one. Playing the game that started such a long-running franchise was interesting from an historical perspective in 2026. Some mechanics clearly show their age, but its atmosphere, setting, and foundation for future entries made it a fascinating game to revisit and finally check off the backlog with all the flags in the kingdom, every single one. So, by the end of the first quarter of 2026, I completed a total of 7 games. Actually, 4 of them were really not new. I had already finished in the past Tekken 3, Call of Duty, Jak, and Assassin's Creed. But, for example, Downward Enhanced, Rayman Legends, and Digimon Rumble Arena were not on my finished game list till now. The important thing is that now I'm not just reducing the size of my backlog list. I just wanted to learn again how I want to engage with games. The spreadsheet helps me stay organized. HowLongToBeat.com helps me set expectations, and my evolving definition of completion helps me enjoy games on their own terms. So, the backlog is still there, and it probably always will be and always will grow. But after the first quarter of 2026, it feels less a mountain to climb and more like a library of experiences waiting for their turn. Now I am mid-June, so I will try my best to finish at least another game during this month, and then I will go with another video about the second quarter of 2026, talking about how is going on with my backlog. Bye bye, guys.